Okay, so let me tell you a little story. I went with a few buddies of mine uh, who lived in Chicago. They lived in the outer part of Chicago, kind of like more or less the suburbs. But in order to show me Chicago, they took me into the city, right? Uh, and so that was nice of them. But one thing that surprised me was that when you get into the big city, you have to pay for parking everywhere. And I guess I was such a small town guy that I didn't realize it. And so anyway, so we would go shopping, and they would drive around and look for a parking spot, and they'd find one. And so what they did was they pumped coins in the meter, and let me show you a meter. Uh, okay, so they pumped coins into the meter, and it was 1 hour, 1 hour. But you can't really do anything in 1 hour. Like we wanted to go eat, and you know, show me Michigan Avenue and stuff like that. So uh, we pumped as many coins, or actually, it was not me. It was one one of my friends. He pumped as many coins into the meter as he could, right? But the limit is 1 hour, I think. Okay, um, so the point is that we got back and it had expired. Okay, so we had no way of putting coins into the meter. I'm doing a little adjusting here. Sorry, just a minute. Okay, so anyway, we got back and there was no ticket. There was no ticket, right? They could have, if meter maid, I guess they call them meter maids, or the meter person, right? Had not come by and there was no ticket on there. So we basically got away with it. In other words, there was no penalty. We got lucky, right? And so my buddy said, we stuck it to the man, right? So, and he used it like a joke, right? And so that's what this video is about, is the concept of sticking it to the man. Okay, so uh, okay, so the man. Let's see here. Now this says in the southern United States. Okay, well this is back in a long time ago. In the southern United States, the phrase came to be applied to any person or group in a position of authority, or to the concept of authorities. And then it says from the 1950s onward, the phrase was also used as a code word among the American underworld for law enforcement in the United States. Okay, I don't know why they're calling it the underworld, because it doesn't have to be the underworld. It's just the regular people. Okay, uh, so okay, so this idea of the man, what it used to be when I was really young was the white man, right? The black people would say the man, and they're talking about how they view white people as being their oppressor, right? And but now then it kind of spread out to be used as any kind of authority, or the government, or big companies, you know. So when we stopped at that meter, and we didn't have to pay, we stuck it to the man. Okay, so let's take a look here again. What I got figured out for you. Okay. So stick it to means to cause damage to someone. You stuck it to him, right? Or a group, right? To stick it to the white man or something like that. Or social class, stick it to the rich man. I think stick it to, my guess is probably a metaphor for involuntary sex. So we think of sex as being a good thing, but if you don't want to have sex, then we use this expression: he got screwed, or he got fucked, or whatever, meaning that someone. So if I say my boss, like screwed me out of a raise, then that means he damaged me, and it's probably a metaphor for sex, right? Uh, because if you don't want it, then it's a bad thing, right? Okay, so well, anyway, so let's go here. Let me get my cursor here. This is just my guess. Stick it to, right? Stick it to. Uh, like male rape, you know what I mean. So, so the man is a person, group, or social class holding the power to oppress, authority, police, the government, rich people, your boss, right? Like, okay. So let me give you some examples of the man, the white man. But I don't believe this. I don't believe this is the case anymore. But that's what is often perceived by black people, right, in the U.S. Okay, the police. So a lot of people, including myself, view the police as being the man sometimes. The government, rich people, big companies, organizations. Okay. Okay, stick it to the man: to defeat, gain benefit from, or damage a person, organization, or social class that is seen as authority, rich, or oppressive. And a lot of times it's used as a kind of like a joke or a light-hearted thing, right? It's almost never used seriously, but sometimes it is. Okay, so this is my example. You parked at a parking meter. You didn't have any coins, and you went shopping. Well, I changed it a little bit. So you went shopping and took the risk that the meter maid would catch you, would not catch you. And I don't even know what they call these people these days. They're not meter maids, because that implies it's a woman, but it's like a meter reader maybe, but that's something different. Okay. You made it back to the meter without getting a ticket. You stuck it to the man, right? Okay, now this is depending on your viewpoint. Pirating songs or other copyrighted material could be seen as sticking it to the man. Although I will say, it's these companies need to make money, right? I mean, otherwise they can't stay in business. They can't pay their employees, and they can't pay talented people to make the materials. So it's somebody might say they stuck it to the man, but really they're sticking it to themselves in a way. Okay, so they're sticking it to society. Whatever. It really depends on your attitude and how deeply you want to look into it. Getting away with a crime such as collecting government benefits. So let's say if somebody, like let's say for example, if some black people think that they were oppressed in the past and made into slaves, and then they collect government benefits. Well, anyway, we're sticking it to the man because they stuck it to us. Whatever. Or even a poor person, right? Feels like the society's not fair, so they go ahead and they collect some government benefits, because what they view as the government as being, the system as being the evil oppressor anyway. Okay. Your company paid you poorly and overworked you. You got a new job and escaped. You stuck it to the man, right? So, you know, this is some examples. Okay, so here's one from a movie, right? This is a little bit, how can I say it? This is the way he's doing this is a little bit like contrived, but whatever. Okay. I gotta turn this down, otherwise it's gonna be an echo.
We want to be free to ride our machines without being hassled by the man.
He said, we want to be free to ride our machines without being hassled by the man. Means the cops, the police.
We want to be free to ride our machines without being hassled by the man.
Okay. Okay, so here's another one. Now this is kind of a joke. This is a comedy, right? And this guy is hanging around with a bunch of black people, and he was afraid at first, and then he started smoking marijuana with them, and everything turned funny.
So anyway, what you were saying, the man, Whitey, and you guys are the victims of a tyrannical, racist, oppressive society. That's right. There we go. Man, that sucks. Sucks, true. I'm gonna talk to some people, straighten this out, man. Right?
Okay, this is funny on a lot of levels because he said something like, you know, you mean me, Whitey, the white man, is part of an oppressive system that is oppressing you, and yeah, and this is comedy, right? So it's exaggerated. So, and he goes, I'm going to talk to somebody about this, right? Which is also funny because that's some kind of joke that white people make when they're talking to black people, because black people might say, okay, well, this has happened, it's white oppression, and we might say, okay, I'll bring that up at the next white man's meeting, right? Because there is no white man's meeting. They act like it's some kind of a conspiracy, but it really, it really isn't, right? So anyway, moving on. Let's see what else I got here. And let's just see some people using this. Okay.
Did it not just to make a bit of money, but that wants to stick it to the man.
Okay, stick it to the man, and they're talking about some big companies.
Don't just sit and take it, stick it to the man.
Okay, and I think this is a little bit weird. They're teaching these kids to say this, and it's basically saying rebel against society. Okay.
Now, if you really want to stick it to the man,
So he's saying, well, let me go back. He's trying to sell something.
Now, if you really want to stick it to the man, I recommend you try Wix.
Okay, and basically he's saying you should, if you want to beat the system, you should try Wix because you can make your website free or something like that, okay? Okay.
Like, hell yeah, Selena, stick it to the man. You show him, you go, girl. And just like we saw in the...
Okay, so something about the weaker person won against the stronger person. That's really what this is all about.
You stick it to the man with your back.
Going to learn about all
all the best ways to stick it to the man.
Okay, and this might be some kind of thing like genius people who beat the system, and so he's going to tell stories about people that won against the system, right? The system meaning the police or the government or big companies or something like that. So, okay, so and you guys might wonder why I choose, the stuff that's behind me. It's just art for art's sake, really. Sometimes it might be related to the video, and sometimes not. I had one of these drinks the other night at a jazz bar, and it was really good. This is called a gimlet, and this is some pretty good quality gin. Not that I drink all the time, but it's like I tried one of these and it was pretty good. And other times it's just a landscape that I might like, or a flower that I think is cool, or some art that I might like. So it's not necessarily related to the topic of the video. It's just something to decorate my video, right? So anyway, I will talk to you on the next idiom.